This actual play is intended for mature audiences and contains themes that some viewers may find upsetting. Please check each episode's show notes for specific content warnings, and enjoy the show with care.
The Old Fire.
Narrate the howling choir's lament, bringing Romulo back to life, and the appearance of the new moon, Blue Alcyone. The brave tell a story of a man who did stand against the queen who did smite him by her own wicked hand. But the love of the many was stronger than she, and our voices held magic that set his soul free. And so in blackness high above, raised by our voices and ceaseless love, Romulo did at last arise to join his brother in a twin-moonlit sky. Red Raga's fury for the treacherous queen met Romulo's beauty in the blue Alcyone. See me, sweet Romulo, hear as I sing. Watch me and guide me, may your memory ring through this wretched lost jester as she howls in the night. May her love for you glow in your pallid blue light.
Our start of session. Let's recap. So you currently have 3 active mysteries. The Whitewood has the remaining question is, what does the Silvercut Company need from the undead to keep the restless Lumen Prince asleep? This is a complexity 6, and you have 6 clues on this mystery. I will tell you that the pressure to resolve this mystery is going to increase dramatically very shortly because Theia is going to travel somewhere, is going to do a journey, and that will be the 5th countdown mark. And once the 5th countdown mark happens, you have this session to resolve the mystery. So know that. Your other active mystery is the Branch Torn Knight. You've made pretty good progress on this, considering we've only kind of gone up to the edge of the Branch Torn Knight. Well, that's not true. We've interacted with a fair amount of it now. But the question is, how can you prove yourself worthy to the Branch Torn Knight? It's a complexity 6. You have 4 clues currently. And the countdown on that is 1. I will remind you that on the 3rd countdown mark of this mystery, one of your supplicants, which I think at this point is Vera, will go to challenge the Branch Torn Knight and will fail. And then we have the Umberslade. The Umberslade does not gather countdown because it is still the new mystery. You do have 1 clue though. We'll address the question whenever we go back to the mystery at some point. So it's kind of just there hanging out until we're able to get to it. In terms of the Lord question, you are making pretty good progress on the Lord question. You have 5 clues on a complexity 8. How can the spell that hides Lyrillin be lifted? I also want to add a little bit of extra texture to this whole situation, which is You should probably pay close attention to the fact that Vera is having like wedding dreams with Noxiliacs. I think that's something that's probably relevant to what's going on. So be mindful of that. And that then just leads us to our embers. Let's take a look at Ash. Ash, you are friend of the Luminians, and you are marked by the Black Cortege. Did you advance last time, Ash?
I did. I increased my presence by 1.
Fantastic. And I think that's all I would need to. Are there any particular moves you want to fire off? You probably want to get your core move done, I'm imagining. But
yeah, I've got 4 to name, and then to summon however many.
That's great. That's a perfect start to your session. That's great. Theia the Waxing Tone, you are marked by the Court of the Sun Queen. Let's put a pin in that. And you told me on Discord that you wanted a quick scene at the ruin of the White Stag tree. I can definitely let you have that. You are going to take a journey. I would like to know now, if it's okay, do you intend to go by way of the ruins of Castle Braken? That'll wrap up that journey. Or do you want to do another step in the Three Faces, or an entirely new journey?
Oh, choices. It might be nice to like wrap up Castle Braken.
Okay.
That might be nice.
Okay, so we'll prepare for that. And where are you headed, ultimately?
I think towards the Branch-Torn Light.
Okay, great. Calyxe of the Verdant Crucible. You are Herald of the Speaking Root. And you had already taken your journey. You are going to the Whitewood, correct?
Yes.
What's your first move when you get there, do you think?
So just before arriving at the Whitewood, visiting Sir Denebray.
Oh,
on the
great.
way
Oh,
through.
that's right. We have to do Sir Denebray. That's right. Very good. That's actually while you're near the Three Faces, but that it's not super important.
A quick question. If Theia wraps up Castle Braken, do I still have access to the Oracle?
You can.
Okay.
You are the only Ember who can make that journey still, for the express purpose of visiting your Oracle. Nobody else can. So
I feel very special. All right.
Yes.
Excellent stuff.
Okay, that sounds good for a start for Calyxe. Fenwyn, who moves like ink and water, you have also arrived at the Branch-Torn Night. You have bloom blindness. What's your initial approach as you arrive at the lands of Castle Brynwold?
Well, not to sound too Fenwyn-like and mysterious, but if we could just wind it back a little bit, because I don't know if I can let what Calyxe said to me stand, and I'd like to follow her to Sir Denebray and also briefly have a word with the Lion Knight before I go to the Branch-Torn Night.
Let's see how that all plays out, because Sir Denebray is not long for the world, especially if Calyxe starts harvesting body parts from him again. I do want to check in on cinders, actually, mostly for myself, so that I can be reminded of what I need to pay attention to. Ash has not yet marked any, and I actually know Theia has marked the physical melody. Bodies are tools for music and worship. Calyxe, the only one you can mark is the speaking root, but it is not yet marked currently. You do, however, have a full brace of boxes marked on the kindling gate. Or no, you don't. You need 2
No,
more,
I have 4 marked and then 2 more to refresh it.
Okay. We'll work on getting some of those loaded up. And then Fenwyn, you have 3 marked. The tower's lesson, even the unscalable falls to the small and certain. The serpent's breath, every danger has a silent moment. And the kindly old man, he who is unseen can still see. That one's been a real problem now that you're blind, because I'm kind of twisting it and reinterpreting it kind of in an inverted way. That's fantastic. I do also want to check in briefly on Theia's red-blue tug of war. I had noted last time that you should move 1 step closer because of your encounter with Ryenia, and then 1 step closer to red again because of destroying the White Stag tree. And where does that put you now?
Mostly red. I am 1 step away from
being fully in red regard. Okay. Fantastic. And you might also, everybody just on break or something, take a moment to look at the equipment you've been gathering. You've all been gathering like different pieces of equipment and things, and there might be like helpful aspects in there, especially for clues or for clearing conditions without having to make camp, that kind of thing. So be thinking on that as we continue. I think that is all I've got for recap. We have to have a new whisper on the wind, perhaps in the embers of the white stag tree's fire. A call from Blue El Sain. Sing a song for two lovers. I want to have that little brief scene you requested, Theia. What's happening here?
So I think among all of that ash and cinder, and among those fallen bodies, some fallen to rotten decay and some fresher, we see Theia just kind of reclining as she does, sort of just playing with the soot and the ash. And she hears that whisper, and she sort of looks up and says, "Two lovers? A song for us, perhaps? I am so sorry I forgot you, my love. How is it possible? Memory is a strange thing. But I assure you, you are safe now. The Luminians are fools. They believe in fairy tales. It's your brother that concerns me. The green tinge that creeps into him. I need to get to the bottom of that." And she'll stand and dust herself off. And there is one place she hasn't investigated yet that she's been hearing about. Perhaps the Night of Branches might have something to do with what's going on in this forest, and maybe there's some answers there.
And so you will begin your journey to the Branch-Torn Night. That does mark the second countdown on the Branch-Torn Night, and it marks the 5th countdown on the Whitewood. I will go ahead and read the outcome of that so everyone knows what's happening now that all 5 boxes on the countdown have been marked. If enough time passes, the Silvercut Company will not find the components needed to put the restless Lumen Prince back to sleep. The eclipse will take place, causing the blue moon to collide with the red moon. The Lumen Prince will wake and escape into the stars, obliterating the Luminians in the process. If the countdown does not come to pass, you may introduce Luminians as side characters in other mysteries. So basically, the fate of Luminians is at stake here. It will come to pass if you do not resolve the mystery in this session. And so I will ask you then, Ash, friend of the Luminians, how is your progress going?
So good.
Dude. We last saw you making camp at the sort of strange gardens, and there was this like greenhouse. You all could make a crack at the question pretty quickly by marking aspects for clues, right? And even if your ember is not there, you can still do that, right? So that's something you have available to you if you want to make sure you don't get put under the thumb of the countdown clock. And so, I mean, really, it's just the Luminian, but you also can't resolve the mystery either, so you kind of just fail the whole thing, right? So, so I'm curious what you do at this point. You have some ceremonies to do, I know.
Yes, I do. I was looking to see what I could mark. Interesting. As the rest comes to an end, the 3 who had been tending to the banner present it to Ash, and it is cleaned and pale, unmarked as it should be, as it has always been. He takes it very carefully and folds it again to put it away. The 3 of you have done good work, and for that I'll name you. I'll name you core in the tree and release you from your burdens. I name you, send the kindly and release you from your burdens. And you, a name made of the even-handed and release you from your burdens. And their figures bow and begin to pass on into the place beyond. And then Ash turns to Pluck. Your song was good. I won't deny you. And Pluck says, well, you shouldn't. I mean, I didn't really have time to prepare it beforehand, but... Aye. Shall I release you then? Well, actually, if you don't mind, if I don't mind, I would stick around. I mean, I have such conversations to have with Sir Malin and Sir Rowan and anyone else you might decide to keep around with you. Right, all right. I'll name you then. Wait a second. Could I pick the name? Right, what name do you want? Well, I feel like you might not hold on to the nickname that you have, so can I be Asha? And Ash is silent for a moment, taken aback. I'll name you Asha the Clear-Voiced and release you from your burdens. And Pluck just smiles. And she does not fade. She steps to the side to join Rowan and Malin. And Ash is looking at the space that she occupied, not sure of what just happened. Ugh. That girl is going to be well, I suppose not the death of me. And then he extends a hand out. Who'll join me? We have work to do. And I would like to use my core move to summon more knights if I can.
Please do. You are going to roll with... You're going to roll with Cinder?
But my God, it never works.
What'd you get?
It's a 4.
Okay, so on a miss, please roll a die. That many knights appear and all must be named immediately.
Mm-hmm. It 4.
You can also bump up your roll by stoking the fire if you don't want to lose 4 knights.
Yeah, I will.
Fantastic. Are you doing old fire or fire to come? We'll be thinking about it. I'm going to check in with the others. Calyxe, before you head to the Whitewood, you do have a chance to check in on Sir Denebray, who is nailed to a sacred tree near the Three Faces. Is it day or night when you find him?
It's dusk.
He has just managed to get some sleep. Sleep is very difficult when your hands have been removed, your wounds are festering, and you're hanging from a tree, and you have been for days and days and days. He's just managed to nod off, perhaps lulled by the knowledge that you are going to pay a price for your crimes very soon. What do you do?
Calyxe will step gently through and will not try to wake him, and instead will creep and use the shadows to hide, move up to his side, and then gently in his ear whisper, as if in a dream he would hear the words, Sir Denebray, speak truth to me. Speak truth of the branch-torn night.
Mark one of his health boxes, and he mutters a clue to you. You asked of the branch-torn night. He says, there it is, in the garden of Castle Brynwild. I have seen it. The land has shown it to me. A portrait of Dame Floriath the Gallant, green moss growing over her raised sword. The portrait placed in a position of honor. That's your clue. He has 2 health boxes remaining. If you take a body part from him, that will kill him. But you can leave him be.
I could. But something tells me I am not the only one here.
Perhaps not. Where are you right now, Fenwyn?
Fenwyn is about 50 or so meters away, crouching atop a stone ruin, tapping his harpoon quietly against the rock to send out the echolocation from which he will hear all this bounce back. He wanted to learn for himself how far Calyxe is willing to go and what her dark rituals entail. And he knows that she knows he's there, and he is just perched there, waiting for her to leave.
I think Calyxe hears the gentle tap of the harpoon. It is not a noise of the forest. Calyxe knows the forest. And as she hears it, maybe not entirely sure if it is Fenwyn, something on the wind tells her it might be. She moves in front of Sir Denebray and raises her arms to protect him from the harpoon that might come his way, or hers. Means very little. And she speaks. Little mouse, if you are there, if it is you I hear, you who would disturb the oracle when I told you, warned you not to, I offer a proposition. Leave now, and I will make no new oracles. Leave now, no others will find their way to the trees. Do what you will, and I will choose only the supplicants that have mattered to you. I will choose only their voices. Do you understand, little mouse? Sir Kaelin, Rhaenya, maybe one of the family Torlarson. Maybe they will find the trees. But move back now, and I promise. What do you say, little mouse?
You're met with absolute silence. And I'm not sure you can tell if Fenwyn's gone or if he's just waiting. But he will leave the oracle undisturbed.
Calyxe waits as the starless dusk melts into an inky black night. She stands there with her arms raised till her shoulders burn and her suffering feeds the land it feeds itself. And Sir Denebray sleeps. So he is gone. And now I will follow through on my warning. We mark it, Fenwyn. This is your doing, and this is the reason why I am doing this, because you disturbed the oracle. Because you did this. Calyxe turns to Sir Denebray, and as he mutters in his sleep, she raises herself up onto her tiptoes, reaches for his face and kisses him. Lovingly, longingly, wraps her teeth around his tongue and bites it out of his mouth. He will bleed to death on this tree, voiceless. But instead, for she is not entirely cold-hearted, she replaces said tongue with a rose that carries bloom rot and makes her way to the white wood.
Add Sir Denebray's tongue to your body parts. Sir Denebray will die. And you must also mark stigma because Sir Denebray dies. We're going to do the journey. Castle Bregan, the ruins of the last of the narrations, the last of the story. In turn, narrate a flashback to the Battle of Castle Bregan. How did the men and women of Castle Bregan show bravery in the face of impossible odds? What is it like when the Malgaunt finally breach the walls?
The tide has been rising. The Malgaunt, their numbers have been growing. The screams getting ever louder. And then comes the surge. The moat means almost nothing as bodies simply pile into it, fill it, and then begin to rise against Castle Bregan. Twisted and contorted, each Malgaunt clambers on top of the other, on top of the other. There is no need for ladders here. They are making ladders of themselves. The wall becomes beset by these mounds of Malgaunt bodies, clambering up the stone to the parapets. Higher and higher and higher. Up on the walls, the captain of the guard looks down. She has her helmet on, her shield ready, her sword raised. She knows this is the end, and as she looks to her men and women, each of them ready, as she, as they face the impossible, as they face death, she braces herself. And to each of her knights, she yells one final command. You do not yield!
The archers in the towers were among the first to see them coming. They had been firing off volleys into the distance, and that distance had been closing and closing. Soon they were practically firing upon their own castle. As the Malgaunts swarm upwards, some of them clamber their hands would be a pale way to describe the way that they dig into the walls and the mortar and scale the walls up higher and higher. They clamber over the top. The archers are practically firing upon themselves. And when that fails, they draw blade, but it is far too late. Still, they listen to the commands. They do what they must. They drive their blades into the Malgaunts. Some catch purchase, some catch nothing. The Malgaunts rip them in twain, and twain, and twain. and the holes that they climbed up, the stairs that lead into Castle Bragan are exposed. And what went up begins to climb down.
Ailish had been insulted that she had been asked to go and stay in the chambers beneath Castle Bragan with the younger ones. She can fight, and she'd proved that over and over, but she had been told no. If it came to that, it would be too late. But here she is, groping around in the dark, trying to find the sword that the guard watching the door had just dropped as he'd been dragged away. There was no one else to protect them now, and she could still hear her brother screaming from up on the parapets. She had to get to him. She picks up the sword. It's a rusted, blunted blade, but it's what she's got. And she's running, and she is hacking, and she is slashing. She doesn't even know what she's hitting, but she knows that whatever is coming through will not stop until everyone in here is dead. She fights her way out of the bowels of the castle and up to a tight, winding staircase, which she knows her brother is at the top of. She fights and fights and fights. Body parts fall all around her, and then she's faced halfway up this staircase by archers retreating. And when they see her, they realize they've secured this part of the castle. Maybe the tide has turned. And one of the archers' face drops as he looks at Ailish. Behind, we see long, thin, black fingers force their way through an arrow slit and pull the walls down and pull Ailish into a tide of black.
They are torn limb from limb, and their screams echo endlessly around and around, but among those screams, if one were there to hear, they would catch the fragments of other cries. I love you. I'm sorry. I've missed you. We shouldn't, I know. I wish. I love you. You were the one. You were my friend. It'll be okay. Don't worry. I'm sorry. I love you. Castle Bragan falls, even as voices still rise.
Theia, you have the option of doing a make camp while you're here. Are you going to make camp, or are you going to go head straight to the Branch Torn Knight?
It would be very funny to make camp, but no, I think we'll carry on.
Fantastic. Let's collect our rewards for the ruins of Castle Bragan, which is now complete. Each ember adds an aspect inspired by the story of Castle Bragan to one of their relics. This, you can take your inspiration from any of the narrations we've done over the past sessions. Who has an idea for one of their aspects to add to one of the relics?
I have an idea for the Tenderbark Confessor. I would love to add the description of the Malgaunt hands, like grappling hooks on the side. I would love to add something like with the strength of a grappling hook to...
Oh, I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Great.
I would love for one of the verses in Theia's Howling Choir book to be the verse that the guard captain spoke.
Fantastic. I love it.
Not to just invent bardic inspiration, but something about being able to strike inspiration against impossible odds.
Fantastic.
I liked Eilish's story of just the relentless climb up the stairs. So maybe something to name take a Something about relentless fury or desire. Workshop it.
I like where you're going with it. Like, a relentless ascent or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, any thoughts for Fenwyn's?
Yeah, I
Fenwyn's
think
very practical relics.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a tough gig, this.
What amazing, like, deep historical lore are you going to add to your makeup kit? We never get to see those either. I'd love to see them sometime.
Yeah. I'm just too much of a Spider-Man to be doing all this kind of practical stuff. I think I'd like to add the tide of blackness to my traveling cloak.
Oh, good.
So I can kind of create my own shadow.
Love it. That's great. Blessings of Castle Bregan are upon thee. I do want to resolve this move really quickly. The ashes the Nameless Legion endures. So go ahead and roll another die, Ash. Let's see how many knights appear, but one must be named immediately.
5.
Fantastic. Do you want to go and just have that scene?
Yes. And also for the record, I marked the fire to come, the heart's fuel.
Oh, read that to us.
So, the Heart's Fuel narrate a scene showing the spectral legion roaming the land. How do they bring further sorrow or woe to an already blighted place? Why is it important that you release them from their burdens sooner rather than later?
I have a fantastic setup for that, so hold that thought. But go ahead and just have the scene with the naming of the knight.
As Ash holds out a hand, again from the ether, footfalls grow stronger, their boots appearing first, then the rest of them, some of their faces still a myriad of smoke. One of them steps forward beyond the other 4 and steps up to face Ash. Ash looks at this knight up and down. I see. Right. I name you Jarek the Stone-Hearted and release you from your burdens. May you pass well, Stone. And this knight does not bow, just turns and steps back into the beyond.
Fenwyn, you're going to arrive at the lands of Lord Brynwild. I would like to know, once again, how are you using the revealed geometry, that unknown or that hidden knowledge that was granted to you, perhaps inadvertently, by the Seething Dark? How are you using that to find Castle Brynwild, the lands of the Branch-Torn Knight?
In a development that is somewhat disturbing to Fenwyn, he can hear the various denizens of the forest directing him. And whilst he is not unfamiliar with wilderness survival, this is in and of itself highly unusual, and still perhaps perturbed somewhat from seeing what Calyxe is capable of and what might be awaiting her as the forest comes to pass its ultimate judgment. He hears instructions from a force that he doesn't understand, but understands enough to know that it's what's after Calyxe. And it's that hidden heart of the forest that he's become unwillingly attuned to.
Fenwyn, you hear the distinct sounds of a waterfall. The flowing of the water, the splashing of the water. And you can hear someone in the waterfall, in the little body of water that it pours into, splashing around. You can't see this person, but there's something about their smell which tells you it's Rhea. What is it?
It's coconut oil.
What do you do?
Fenwyn scrapes the haft of the harpoon through the moss and lichen at his feet until he hears it clink against a stone. And then he drives it down to send out the signal to see and map out his environment because this can't be true.
And yet it is, she says, from the water. How long has it been? I thought I would never see you again. And it seems perhaps you will never see me again.
This must be some trick.
I want the light move here. What are you afraid is going to happen right now if you lose your nerve?
I'm afraid I'm going to believe it's her.
I think because of your bloom blindness, your senses are betraying you. And your remaining senses. So you're going to be rolling. Well, let's take a look at your cinders. No, it'll be composure, but at disadvantage.
That's a 6.
What were you scared of again?
I was scared that I would believe it's her.
Yeah. I'll take over. You are removing your inky black cloak, your traveling clothes. You cast aside the spear. And you step into the water. The water is cool. It's refreshing. You can feel her touch. It is as you recall it. She says, "What a joyous day. We are reunited. I don't know why I was drawn to this place, but I was. And now I know why. And here, this is like when we first met, when you helped me. We need to celebrate. Yes, we need to celebrate. And look there, a traveling troubadour coming upon us now. Minstrel, do you hear us? Please sing us a song. Sing a song for two reunited lovers." Now, whether that's true or not, who knows? But this is what's happening. Theia, that's you, of course.
What am I seeing here before I say anything?
It looks like Fenwyn and this lovely woman in the waterfall embracing, quite naked.
Interesting. Great. Yeah, Theia will come across this, eyebrows just completely off the top of the head. I see. Well, what kind of bard would I be if I refused a request for a song? And she will strum up something unfittingly jaunty. And Where do you wander, oh my love, in the reaches of this endless land? Where might I find you, oh my love? I long for the touch of your hand. Are you high up in the snow-covered mountains? Are you drowned under the sea? Do you dance gaily in a flowery meadow? Are you nailed to a twisted old tree? You will soon find me, oh my love, in a waterfall lush and serene. I will step boldly, oh my love, from the spaces that linger between.
At the conclusion of the song, though you can't see it, Fenwyn, Rhea can, and she reacts with some surprise and shock. Because Theia dissolves, disappears, floats away. "30 years have passed. In 30 years, the Nameless Legion have left you, Ash, having grown bored with the Luminians in the Silvercut Lodge, and are running wild, doing whatever they're doing in the lands remaining. Tell me about it.
Without Ash to helm them, without anyone to name them, they seek names from those who have them. They cannot pass on without a name, and so they will take a name. It does not matter, innocent or criminal, young or old. They reach into your dreams, into your soul. They take the names of the ones you love, the names that you have not yet thought of. Born and unborn, they take them, so they can never be.
Calyxe. The Conclave of the Living Ring accuses you of the blasphemy of iron and blood. You have 30 years to wander the Great Forest. You can choose penance for your crimes, or you can choose further blasphemy. If you choose penance, you get to unmark a stigma. If you choose more blasphemy, you will mark a stigma, but you will also learn something about the Emerald Nightmare and gain a Lord clue. Which do you choose?
Continued blasphemy.
Describe your 30 years of terror upon the land.
Calyxe is a vine in a dark room, reaching endlessly up towards light that is not there, spreading, searching, rooting constantly, trying to find sustenance, nourishment for a soul she does not have. The forest, the thing that gave her such joy, such pleasure in feeding, such pleasure in serving, rings hollow. She does not recognize it. She does not know its sounds. She cannot see the leaves, or the beauty of the changing seasons. She wanders endlessly. She is searching for something to serve, and the only thing in her mind for 30 years is a nameless night. She dreams of the steel of his sword. She remembers the way he would buckle the sides of his foul breastplate. She remembers every single name of his knights. She remembers him because there is something in him she felt was worthy and could serve, and that is why she is here, and she has not given up hope that maybe that was the Torlanis that named the forest. Maybe she was right, and maybe the Crucible was wrong. And if she just keeps searching, if she just keeps going, and if she just keeps nailing every unworthy to the trees that she can find, if she can just make this forest alive with their screams, maybe he will come back to her. Maybe she will find him.
Ash, your 30 years in the Silver Cut Lodge has made you not just a friend of the Luminians, but something of an honorary Luminian. For your long friendship and your help in trying to figure out how to bring the restless Lumen Prince to rest, they mark one of your relics with a rune of their people. You get an aspect related to the Luminians to add to either your sword, your armor, or the banner. Be thinking on what that is. Fenwyn, please describe your 30-year-long reunion with Rhea, and importantly, near the end, what makes you start to question, finally, even if you don't want to, that she's not who she says she is.
The problem with Fenwyn is that he knew from the beginning that she wasn't who she said she was. But he accepted her anyway. And they spent 30 years, decades, living a lie, moving between shadow, staging vignettes of happiness, hollow and empty. But it's what Fenwyn deserved, because Fenwyn is a coward.
You have to roll the dark move to finally escape this thrall. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
We're going to get a house in the suburbs. I think if Fenwyn fails, he will never be able to find Theia again.
It's worse than that. You will lay down your quest to destroy the Dimning as well. This is going to be with... I think it's actually going to be with Cinder. And I think it's because this danger is filled with silent moments. They're nice silent moments.
Are they? Lucky I've got these burglar's tools. Okay. That's a 6.
Ash, what's it like spending 30 years in the Silvercut Lodge? And what rune do they finally give you as a gift?
It's not hard to... It's not hard to acclimate among a group of hunters. They're not so different from the knights in their desire to carouse, though the howling takes a bit of time to get used to, and soon Ash learns the different howls and howls a bit himself. On occasion, not many times. The rune that they give allows him to change. He does not become a Luminian, but for a time, he can adapt some features. More than he is. Just for a time.
Which are you adding it to? Which of your relics?
My Val plate.
Go ahead and note that as an aspect. You have 3 empty spots on each relic. I'm not sure how many you're up to now, but
The Val plate is full.
it's full. Okay. Calyxe, or Jess, really, I'm going to let you define the Lord clue that you discover. Go ahead and increase your stigma if you haven't already. The conclave of the living ring is pissed at this point. They gave you 30 years to fix your ways. You did not do it. If you have any thoughts on that Lord clue, let me know now. Otherwise, we can wait a little bit. I'll remind you that the question is, how do we uncover the hidden city of Lyralen?
I would love it to be something linked to what the Scaled Pilgrim has said repeatedly about green embers and dying embers.
Yeah.
That maybe only green embers.
Maybe you need a green ember. Maybe you
Yeah.
need the Scaled Blessed Pilgrim.
Yeah, only a green ember can find Lyralen.
Yeah, that's pretty
Something
good.
like
I like
Okay.
that. Yeah. That's ironic, and I'm very into it. How'd you learn that, though? I'm curious, like, in your travels, how'd you discover that? In your travels of, like, presumably murdering people and preaching and doing what other horrible things you're doing?
I think at the beginning of her exclusion, of her, what is the word? Excommunication. Exile. At the beginning of that, she makes good on her first promise, for she is filled with revenge and vengeance and fury. And she promised the Scaled Pilgrim that she would find him and make him an oracle. And I think she does that. And when she tries to elicit truths from him, that's what he tells her. And that is all he tells her. It is the same information over and over and over again. And that is the first element that Calyxe has to realizing she is losing her connection to the forest. The information does not change. The truth does not change. For Calyxe has changed instead.
Fenwyn, one evening, in Rhea's embrace, perhaps in the tall grass. In the distance, you can hear the celebrations at Castle Brynwild. You hear them better than anyone, probably. They go on and on and on. It's so happy. Rhea whispers into your ear, "We shall go there together someday." And I think that's when you realize that you will never see Theia again. It's possible none of us will ever see Theia again. Rhea takes your hand, and someday turns into now. Perhaps days or weeks pass, and you approach the gates of Castle Brynwild. And you just hear a thundering voice. "Welcome! Welcome! Please, come in. Lay down your troubles." And you too. Lay down your troubles. Seeking the Dimning no more. Seeking the old capital no more. Spending the remainder of your days with Rhea and the Liege Lord Brynwild behind the walls of the castle. Unless you stoke the fire.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Which
Old
one?
fire.
Old fire. We'll deal with it next time. But for now, I'll give you control. You can, no further complication. Just describe how you finally realize that this is a glamour, that you are not meant to be here with this person. After all these years, you decide now is the time to go.
I think that the illusion that traps Fenwyn, and willingly he has given himself to this illusion, is that it's a loop. It goes round and round, day into night. Nothing changes. He doesn't change. She doesn't change. Until one day, there's a different timbre to her voice. And he realizes that the thing that he always knew to be true couldn't possibly have come to pass because he's never heard her speak, because they communicate in sign language. That he was so willing to accept it, so willing to accept the ideal over the real. But now it's time to slip once again back into the shadows and walk alone.
Sunlit vengeance. Theia. Shortly after performing your song, you find yourself in a desert. A vast white sand desert with the sun large, ponderous, pendulous, heavy, beating down. The sand of this desert is perfectly white and perfectly smooth. There are no dunes, there are no footsteps. The only thing that breaks the smoothness of this vast plain of sand are lines drawn in the sand. You can follow these lines for a time. Some of the lines you follow for years, and you realize that it's a circle. After the 5th or 6th year, you realize that there's more circles, deeper, and so you walk deeper. Years and years pass under the blazing sun. You have not heard the call of the Wolf King. You have not seen the 2 moons in all this time. Your skin is dried, leathery. Your boots worn. These concentric circles are sigils sacred to the Sun Queen. And after 30 years, you finally arrive at the center of these concentric sigils. And standing there in the heart of it all is someone you recognize from the past. A man wearing robes of white and gold, scorched at the hems as if brushed by constant heat. This is the burnished intercessor, a member of the court of the Sun Queen. He holds out a hand. The Sun Queen hears every note you dare to loose, troubadour. Sun that sees all things, sun that suffers no shadow. Take this light and make it law. Let the day become iron, let the radiance take form, let the guilty stand where they are found, by noon unbroken in the crown of the fire above. Bind. And the sunlight forms chains glowing white-hot chains that wrap around you, bind you, burn your flesh. Even though this is full, bright daylight, this is the dark move. What are you afraid is going to happen right now if you... What do you do, first of all? And then what are you afraid is going to happen if you fail at it?
Theia stands as firm as she can, looks him in the eyes, and says, "Stars die eventually." And I think she is afraid that she will not live to see that day.
You will not. You will be burned by the chains, scorched, and sunlit vengeance, sunlit judgment will be cast upon you. This is going to be... Let me look at your cinder again that you've marked. I don't know. Bodies are tools. No, I don't think that applies. I think this is going to be with vitality.
She sure
At
is
disadvantage. At disadvantage because of marked by the court of the Sun Queen.
Yeah, that's fair. Just having a little look here. Don't you worry about it. May I use my knowledge of how the world could be if the Wolf King rises again to steal my resolve here?
What do you say to the burnished intercessor?
I say, I am not one. We are many. And you will never find us all. He will come. And he will bite the heart out of you all.
Roll 2d6 plus 0.
Okay. 6, 7.
You are going to survive this attack. But there's going to be you're going to be badly burned, and there's going to be a follow-up to actually deal with the burnished intercessor. You can bump it up and avoid the burns and just deal with the burnished intercessor, or you can have the follow-up roll. It's up to you.
I'll take the roll. I'll try.
The chains wrap around you. They are searing your flesh. Take a condition, burns. But the Wolf King is able to reach into this place just enough to shake the chains loose. Move your marker one step closer to Red Regar. And the burnished intercessor says, "It seems you have more power than I anticipated. Very well then. Sing. Sing for me. Let us see how your lies fare in the light, in the purifying light of the sun." What do you do?
Theia, as soon as she feels those chains loosen, her hand goes straight to her belt for her knife, the Wolf King's coda, and she flings it towards his heart, and it sings through the air in a crisp, clear note.
This is going to be just the light move, actually. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
That in this place where the Wolf King is so distant, that his song will no longer be within this blade.
This is once again going to be vitality, and once again at disadvantage because of marked by the court of the Sun Queen.
Okay. Can I mark that aspect that I invoked to?
Of course, yep.
Okay. Two? Is two gonna do it?
I'm going to reinterpret the answer thusly, or the thing you were scared of thusly. The sword falls, or the blade falls to the ground, to the sand. And the burnished intercessor actually picks it up and says, "Do you think this little trinket has power over the Sun Queen? She is deposed, yes. She is weakened, yes. But here, her power grows. Her time will come again. And all you and your kind will have are just these little trinkets, it seems. I feel sorry for you." He actually walks up to you and places it in your hand. The time of the Wolf King is ending. You're going to take that as a condition, in quotes.
Okay.
And then you are going to be sent back to the lands remaining.
Great. Great stuff. Great.
After 30 years, you're finally running out of time to deal with the restless Lumen Prince. In truth, you could probably burn another 20 or 30 more before he actually wakes. Who knows? But it's getting to be time. It's getting close. It needs to be dealt with. Let's take a look at your clues. You currently have 6 clues on the 6 complexity question. The countdown is full. This will be the end of this mystery no matter what today. And so, do we want to start having a conversation about what we think, what role the undead play, why do the Luminians need the undead to help them put the Lumen Prince back to sleep? And obviously, if you have any aspects that you want to contribute to help bump up the roll, that is probably very well met at this point. Or not. We don't have to do that. So what do we think?
Okay. So, walk with me. I think that Scrutineer Cairo or Ryania, the story about the nature spirit and the Fae King that the Lumen Prince was hung up.
Ryania told that story.
Ryania. I think it's true. And I think that the nature spirit, when the dimning came, her power waned and dissipated into the land itself, which is what caused the undead to rise in the first place.
Oh.
And I think, so the powerful smell of quicksilver, I think it's part of her essence, essentially kind of like subsumed across the land. And the lullaby for the Lumen Prince is a lullaby that she would sing up to the prince, which is why they need to have the ritual take place here, because Scrutineer said they can't do it anywhere else. It has to be in this place.
That changes the story. That's good. I like it. Yeah.
I think it has to be here, but the fact is because her power waned and it went into the undead. When they drink the white sap, it's not that they're speaking nonsense. They're speaking like a primordial, like nature language. And so when they drink enough, they can communicate with that. The constellation patterns and the 3-headed comet. I think the 3-headed comet is the number 3 is what's important in it. In that there are, I think, 3 verses to the lullaby that needs to happen. the constellation pattern, I think it's a sort of time and place and positioning sort of thing for where it has to be. Like they've already figured out that it has to be here, but it has to be in this place at this time. And the moon blossoms, I think, was like they had figured out that it had something to do with nature, but they had not connected it to the fact that it had to be like the earthly nature, because the Luminians don't stay down on the world long enough. So they tried to access that through the red moon blossoms, because they thought that it was more closely connected to the Lumen Prince than the earth, but that one's weak.
I buy all the other 5 clues. I want to work through them. I think the most interesting one is the idea of Blue Elsaine turning to show its hidden face, because that implies that the story, that they have the story wrong, right? That they understand it, but they misunderstand it. They think that ancient Luminians put the whitewood trees here to raise the undead, because the undead have something to do with keeping the Lumen Prince at rest. But what is actually happening is Blue Elsaine, as you've described it, turning her face away, reveals a different aspect, and that is what causes the undead to rise. That's what the whitewood trees and the undead are all part of that process. And so, in fact, it's not so much that they need the undead per se. It's more like they need to understand what's really happening here. And I find that really fascinating. The smell of quicksilver, the lullabies. I think the lullaby is obviously the big, like, kind of keystone clue here. The 3 verses with the 3 heads, I love that. It again, it kind of shows like a misunderstanding. Like they kind of misunderstand the story a little bit. And then the constellation pattern, that's pretty easy to work in, because it just implies that there's a celestial thing that has to happen. I love all that. That's really, really solid. The wilted red moon blossoms, I think it needs to be tied more closely to the red moon somehow, because we know that the red moon is going to eclipse the blue moon if this comes to pass, right?
Could it be like they've observed that the Blue Elsaine is turning away, and maybe they think that that's rightly or wrongly, they think that's a problem. Like, no, we need to turn it back, and the red moon blossoms are them attempting to kind of redress that balance, like almost invoke
I kind of like
the gravity of the red moon to pull the Blue Elsaine back.
Yeah, like that. I like that a lot, actually. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, this is really solid. It's getting there. You're at a flat roll if we take Michelle's suggestion for the red moon blossoms, which feels right to me. Just for viewers who might have gotten lost in the shuffle here, Ash, what is the basic simple answer of like how we get the restless Lumen Prince to sleep?
So they have to interpret and understand the language spoken by the undead white sap drinkers to get the words of the lullaby to sing the Lumen Prince to sleep.
3 verses of it. Good. I love it. That's so great. Yeah, that's fantastic. What a fantastic lore-rich theory. Does anybody have any aspects they want to mark to maybe add some extra clues in here? Because it's going to be a flat roll otherwise. Does anyone have a personal connection?
I might be able to add something. The living tendrils of old Gore, which sap life from living flesh. Those mention of like the white woods, the white sap, would feed the undead the warmth of life. Right. And maybe that's sort of part of the cycle. That sapping of life like down.
Oh, interesting. Like old Gore is a creature of the same process, essentially?
Yes.
Oh, that's intriguing. That's intriguing. And it really makes the whole, like, the moon's effect on the forest, like, quite profound at this point, right? Interesting. That puts you to +1 if you mark that.
I will mark it.
Anything else? Or are we going for a +1?
I have Elgareth's ill-fated star map
Oh,
on the vow plate.
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that
I
helps you
think
interpret
maybe-
the constellations. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
So
be a plus
I'll
2.
mark that.
If that's
Okay.
it, we'll roll plus 2. Sounds like you're rolling it, Ash, so go ahead.
Don't fuck me. 10.
Nice. Would anyone like to mark Cinder to bump it up to a 12 and make the answer also a Lord clue?
Hello, I have an idea. It's me.
What's your idea?
Slow nonsense. The Luminians, it's fairy stories. They are completely mistaken about the moon. He's fine. Blue Essayne is fine, but it will ease their pain to believe this to be the case. It will ease their fear and suffering to feel safe again and to carry out this ritual, to lull the fictional Lumen Prince back to sleep. Stories do that for us. If you believe a story enough, it becomes true. And
Oh,
I
this
would
is
like to
interesting.
mark words spoken true, lies can become truth.
This is interesting because what you're suggesting is that none of this is real, that the Luminians have just completely missed the mark here. There's nothing bad going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we still are going to confront the Lumen Prince. And so
because if there's magic in the world, and if enough people tell a story, it becomes true to them.
I love it. So there's something really, really deeply ironic about all this. Like the Luminians, first of all, not even really having a problem, kind of creating their own problem because of their mistaken prophecies and stories, completely misunderstanding, and then terrorizing the undead population down in the Whitewood Conclave or the Whitewood Commune, and occupying Ash's time for 30 years in the Silvercut Lodge just so that we could learn this lullaby and learn all this stuff that ultimately none of it would have come to pass if not for their stories. How it's so like the dramatic irony is so rich, right? It's really, really incredible. But is where we're at. So that is now a 12 plus. And also we have to recontextualize this answer to be another clue for gaining access to Lyralen as well. So be thinking about that. We've got time for that. There's no rush on that. But in the meantime, you have unlocked the opportunity, which is resolve the mystery by immediately engaging in a struggle to perform a ritual to put the restless Lumen Prince back to sleep. You're there, Calyxe. Obviously, you're there, Ash. Calyxe, I think you just kind of like, at some point, you make your way up to the Silvercut Lodge. Maybe you even bring some of the, like, this truth of the Whitewood trees to the lodge, right? Because you've been down here for 30 years amongst the Great Forest. And you all come to this conclusion. I don't even know if the two of you know about the initial falsity of it all. I think that's maybe something only Theia knows, but for our purposes, it doesn't matter.
I've just thought Calyxe has been wandering the forest looking for Ash all this time, unaware that he's in the lodge.
Right.
Oh my god. Okay.
And once you finally get to the lodge and you all, at your little reunion, the gate to the Lumen Prince, the hall of gates, swings open, as you know, so to speak, and you are both engaged in the struggle here. Restless Lumen Prince, Ash, Calyxe, Rowan, Malin, Asha, all stand before the Moon Gate. The first movement. The Moon Gate opens and your senses are immediately overwhelmed by the light emanating from the other side. You press onward, wincing and shielding your eyes as you cross the circular threshold into the blinding unknown. The light melts away as soon as you step inside. The air here is stagnant and metallic. Your eyes open, revealing to you a vast cosmic lake of liquid mercury that stretches well beyond the boundaries of the Silver-Cut Lodge. The skies are painted with motes of starlight and ribbons of iridescent clouds that drift overhead. Floating above the horizon, you see an orb of smooth blue flesh, surrounded by rings of meteors drifting in a glacial orbit around its glistening immensity. A shadow churns within, the Lumen Prince, slowly straining within the confines of his amniotic cell. Each step you take only seems to disturb the Moonchild further. Let's paint the scene. This place belongs to neither time nor space. It is a dream, constructed by the caretakers of the Lumen Prince to pacify him. What do you see that indicates that this dream has become unstable?
I think there are these billowing nebula clouds that swirl and shift and dance across this scene. And as they thin and dissipate in places, we can see brief snatches from behind the curtain of this illusion. We can see the literal caretakers, these silent, almost somnambulant giants who are literally conjuring these celestial illusions in order to bid the prince a long slumber.
The lake, the liquid mercury that surrounds this orb is serene and calm. But then there's a rumble. It sends ripples through this liquid that carry further and further. And then the rumbles grow larger, louder. A crevice forms beneath the liquid and it begins to pour down into some site unknown. These cracks are growing further and more are appearing.
There are innumerable pinpricks of starlight all around, but they are just old light. And it has been many years. And in front of your very eyes, the light of these stars begins to blink out.
The billowing dusts, the mercurial lake draining, the pinpricks of light, all exist within a space that seems to feel like it is contracting, drawing down and in on itself as if the weight of what is at its center is too much for it to bear, as if at any moment it could all collapse in on itself and then explode into 1,000 different possibilities. And we are on the precipice of that point.
The prince, no longer at rest, presses against the inner membranes of the orb, stretching them as much as the filmy walls will allow. He hurls his massive weight against the interior walls, pressing his claws into the skin of his confinement, puncturing the orb. The wounds weep the same liquid metal you now stand upon, letting quicksilver ooze out into the lake below. He burrows his muzzle through the wounds, and with a single devastating yawn declares his awakening. The dream shudders. The lake ripples and sunders your reflections as the prince's howling cry shakes the meteors loose, sending them plummeting into the lake below. To Calyxe and Ash, describe how you attempt to withstand the first assault how you shut out the mind-rending howl, keep from being crushed by the meteors, or otherwise resist the urge to flee or outright attack the prince, and then roll the dark move. I will note here, either of you can flee. You will take the Faithless Ember condition, but you can flee.
Not happening. It's been 30 years.
Indeed. How do you try to survive the first assault? And bearing in mind, you also have the help of the others if you need it.
I think Ash, from his time in living with the Luminians, almost involuntarily lets out his own howl and is just going to, with Name Taker, charge through and swing at the meteors.
I love it. This is going to be with vitality. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I'm afraid I'm going to get crushed.
I'm not sure how it's worse than that, except that I think the power of the Lumen Prince will also just completely obliterate the 3 Spectral Knights as well. Go ahead and roll with vitality. Do I want Friend of the Luminians to... I think Friend of the Luminians will hurt you here because you are perhaps in your passion being careless.
I think I'm going to then mark an aspect on Name Taker, the one I just got, which is moves forward in Relentless Assault.
Oh, good. I love it. Great. 2d6 plus vitality.
13.
There you go. As your bonus, I won't make Calyxe roll. Calyxe, you can just describe how, well, we'll start with Ash. Describe how you resist the assault.
Ash releases this animal howl, a sound that he didn't know that he could make, but it echoes through this space as he charges forward. The knights and Calyxe, I presume, behind him. As the meteors come, he brandishes Name Taker up towards the air, and it slashes through. The wave that it creates buffets the meteors and splits them in two, causing these little fragments of rock to shatter and break apart around them.
What do the others do? The 3 other Spectral Knights? Just more of that, or?
Malin and Rowan are doing more of the same. Asher has her Gittern in hand and is actually striking forward, and the sound is carrying through and further shattering the rocks.
Calyxe, describe how you survived the initial assault, the mind-rending howls and the meteors.
For all of the assaults on her senses, on her mind, Calyxe's eyes are fixed so firmly on Ash, she cannot see or hear anything else. And as he grows this great maw, and as he howls at the prince, and as he splits this rock, Calyxe knows peace for the first time in 30 years, and stays incredibly still.
The second movement. Meteors rupture the surface of the lake, causing mercurial waters to splash up and coil into writhing silvery appendages, manifestations of the Lumen Prince's dazed frustrations. They whip and thrash, destroying each other and reshaping into dangerous new forms as they collide. All around you, the dream continues to disintegrate. The clouds now flicker with the death and rebirth of thousands of stars over and over again. The once stagnant air becomes a cutting gale that threatens to knock you off your feet. The metallic waters you stand upon become choppy and riddled with vortexes that threaten to pull you beneath should your step falter. To both Embers, because you got a 10+ on answer a question, you know the rites needed to lull the beast back to sleep. Each of you describe your role in this ritual and how you use the dream to your advantage in performing it. We don't actually perform it yet, but just what's your role to play in the lullaby?
Calyxe was a mother. Calyxe had a child. Calyxe knows how to soothe, despite her better nature. Calyxe knows how something young, newly born, needs to be comforted before it finds its way in the world. And she makes the sounds that she made to her daughter, and she whispers the sweet words, the first words she would hear. She whispers them again now as if whispering them then, to try and calm the tantrum, the storm that this thing is.
What role do you play, Ash?
Ash has spent so long studying and interpreting with scrutiny Cairo the words. He has tried and tried to keep the melody in such a way that it is almost a second nature. He, at one time, thought to give it to Asha to sing, but it has to be him.
The third movement. The prince's head begins to crown slowly through the gashes in the membrane. 3 sleep-encrusted eyelids slide open to reveal a crescent-shaped pupil that, as it spots you interlopers, dilates with red-hot rage. The tattered flesh of the orb rips open as the lumen prince cranes its muzzle upwards, grinding and snapping ribbons of blue sinew between shining metallic fangs. Moonlight flickers from the depths of his maw, and with another howl of petulant rage, he concentrates the light into an uncontrollable beam of burning luminance that cuts through the reality of the dream itself. To the ember with the highest composure, and I believe that is Calyxe. As the moonbeam tears through the landscape, what brief glimpse of the prince's memories do you see bleed through into the dream? How does it reveal to you that their confinement is both unjust and necessary? Then take the condition moonburned.
The Lumen Prince watches as the lodge is built, as the whitewood trees sprout, as 1,000 rituals are performed in his name. Every last one of them is wrong. He can see it and he knows it. Even in his state, this newborn state, nothing feels right. A great misunderstanding is afoot and at play. And after eons have gone by, watching mistake after mistake after mistake, he turns his face away.
Ash, describe how you try to evade the moonbeam and then roll the dark move. This massive beam of energy.
I think Ash doesn't try to evade it. I think he tries to deflect it. He has spent so much time with the Luminians that the moonlight itself bounces off of him in a way similar to the way it does them. And so I think he just tries to push it away.
This is going to be with vitality. I am going to put you at disadvantage because of Friend of the Luminians. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I am afraid that I have misjudged how strong this beam of light is, and it will cut me through.
It's worse than that. I think the beam sweeps in a wide arc, destroying the other three spectral knights, and also forcing Calyxe to have to avoid it.
I am going to mark. What can I mark? I'll do a suit of burnished steel again. I'll use my armor as protection.
Okay, roll with 2d6 plus 2.
Nine.
I'm going to give you Moonburned as well. Go ahead and, but as you've described it, I think essentially the beam like focuses on you. It hits your armor. It's not enough to destroy you. And indeed, you're drawing the beam to you, keeping everyone else safe. If you want to have the help of the other spectral knights, you can bump it up to a 10 and avoid Moonburned.
Yes, I think I will. I think Rowan is going to come and absorb some of that as well.
Fantastic. So no condition, and you manage to absorb and deflect the beam. That takes us to the fourth movement. You have the means to put the Lumen Prince back to sleep, but you must act now before it breaks free. Ash, describe how you navigate the Lumen Prince's rage to complete the ritual to keep the dream from collapsing in on itself, and then roll the light move.
As the moonbeam is absorbed, deflected, pushed away, as this cry becomes more plaintive, Ash steps forward, Asher and Rowan and Malin still in tow. And Asher begins to pluck on her kitten, and Ash will sing. I sing now. Okay. My song on the vesper wind will draw you to dream again. Moon blossoms sway as night covers day, and forest stars dance in the glen. My dreams keep a watchful eye. My arms are the evening sky. Sleep now, my child, safe in the wild. My love for you never shall die. Ah, ooh, ooh. Ah, ooh. Like waves drift onto the shore, my love drifts forevermore. Light of my days, soul of my gaze, all in the world I care for. Hush now your weary cry, on dream-laden clouds you fly. Down now to sleep, my heart you will keep, my love for you never shall die. Ah, ooh. Ah, ooh. I have but one prayer to gods who would interfere. Lend a swift wing to this earthbound thing and ferry me up to him there. Here in my arms you'll lie, and ne'er shall we say goodbye. I'll kiss your sweet brow and whisper my vow. My love for you never shall die.
I don't need the light move. It's fine. The restless lumen prince is put back to sleep, and that resolves the mystery of the white wood. Let's collect rewards. The first decision you have to make in the collecting of rewards is which of the two side characters will become a supplicant at the Morning Tower. Will it be Scrutineer Cairo? Or will it be Rhaenya? You have to all agree.
I mean, both are good. And they're not going on trees. Don't you worry about it. They're safe. Both of them are cool.
You stay away from my lamb. He will not.
You know, after 30 years with Scrutineer Cairo, I've warmed to him a little bit. He's just a silly guy.
Shall we say Scrutineer Cairo?
I think we should. I think Rhaenya seemed happy. Down exploring.
Very good. Scrutineer Cairo will be at the Morning Tower when next you return. You then each get to choose an individual reward. I'll remind you that optionally, if you don't want one of these things, you can also just create something with two aspects that is inspired by the mystery. You have quite a lot of Luminian tech here. Lumen glider boots, leather hunting boots that allow the wearer to walk on crescent-shaped plates of rigid moonlight. A dark star hunting bow. The wielder is able to see perfectly in total darkness when the bowstring is fully drawn. The twin moon astrolabe. This handheld device tracks the paths of the twin moons and how their movement affects the constellations in the skies and the waters in the lands. A flask of white sap. When ingested in small doses, this blood-red sap can impart a tranquil euphoria, though too much can lead to madness or catatonia. Or a whitewood buckler. A small round shield reinforced with whitewood branches provides special protection against fire. You'll recall it doesn't burn. Who wants what?
Now hear me out. I can't see at all. If I took the Dark Star hunting bow, I mean, I'm moving in dangerously into Rogue Wizard Ranger multi-class now.
But, you'll be able to see though.
Yeah. Would anyone have any objections? Okay.
It is yours.
I have a question about this wood's ability to repel fire, such as sun-based fire attacks, maybe? Yes?
Possibly,
no?
yes. Possibly, yes.
Possibly. I'll take it.
You may have a lot of dealing with that in the future.
Yes, I suspected that, yeah. Maybe that shield could come in handy then.
It is yours.
It's gotta be the flask of white sap. It's gotta be. There's nothing else. if that's all right, Ash.
I don't want it. I'll be having the Lumen glider boots, thank you.
Mm. These are really good items, actually. They're all quite nice. That settles the rewards. I think that also takes us to the end of our session. So let's go ahead and do that. Players can answer their end of session questions now, earning 1 XP for each yes. We'll start with Fenwyn. The Embers did resolve a mystery. Go ahead and take an XP there. Did you roll a Cinder?
Did.
You did. Did you fight an enemy when slipping past them was an option?
I did not.
I think...
Did I?
I mean, you tried to resist the water, so I'm going to say you actually don't get it. If you had willingly walked into the waterfall, I would count that as not slipping past an enemy, right? But you had to do that because of a roll, though. Did you deliver an embittered monologue about the dimning?
Not this time, I don't think.
All right, so you picked up 2 XP. Calyxe of the Verdant Crucible. You get the XP for the mystery resolve, and then did you roll a cinder?
I did not.
Did you perform a rite others found abhorrent, frightening, or unforgivable? Yes, you did.
Mm.
Did you demonstrate reverence for root, stone, or soil over law, crown, or creed?
Arguably, no, I don't think.
You picked up 2 XP. Theia, the Waxing Tone. You get your XP for satisfying your move.
Mhm.
You get XP for resolving the mystery. Did you engage in ecstatic or orgiastic worship of the Wolf King?
I don't think so. Not unless the old fire narration counts. I don't think I did during the session.
I don't know if it quite rises to that level. Did you
That's fine.
perform publicly or intimately in a way that shifted the balance of power? Yes, you did.
Yes, it shifted against me, but yes.
Yes, it did indeed. You picked up 3 XP. Ash, you get credit for resolving the mystery. Additionally, did you roll a cinder? Yes, you did. Did you act in accordance with your vows even when it cost you something precious?
Quite incidentally, I don't know if it counts, but by dedicating 30 years of my time with the Luminians, does that count as losing precious time? Because it left the
I'm into
other
it.
nameless.
I'm into it.
to-
Because the nameless are running rampant over the lands right now,
Yeah.
terrorizing whoever's left, taking their names. I love it. Did you name another enemy or another enemy, ally, or shade, and in doing so alter their fate? Yes, you did.
Yes.
You picked up all 4. That's great. Fantastic. Let's keep going here. Who stoked the fire, the old fire especially, or has other narrative prompts that they have to do next session?
Yeah, I stayed the old fire ones.
Okay, old fire so we will, when we meet briefly or here in a bit, you will have to do that. Does anybody else stoke the old fire? Okay. We can do a quick stars and wishes. What a session. We'll just say that. I'll start with that.
Yeah, let me dry the tears. Good Lord, Wren. Good Lord. Good Lord, Wren and Michelle. Neither of you get to do that. Neither of you are allowed to do that. That's wild. Oh my God. Yeah, no, both the song at the beginning of Romulo being Blue Alsain, Theia sticking to that throughout the entire mystery, like, answering, and then twisting it on its head at the very end to give us even more to play with during that mystery. That was just fantastic. I also really love her during our little break before we were describing what happened at Castle Bragan. You were like, oh, I've really got nothing. I don't really think I've got anything. And then you came out with that just list of voices saying things. I nearly broke then. Today was just a day I was gonna cry. I think that's what we've established. But that was just all of the elements that Theia came through with today were fantastic. Into the desert. Incredible. Okay, and also let's speak about the desert for a minute. Jesus fucking Christ, Jason. Jesus fucking Christ. 30 years out of nowhere. 30 years. We all assumed initially it was just Fenwyn. It was just going to be a thing that happened to Fenwyn. I was perfectly happy with that. No. No, it was a full party battering. It put a cat among the pigeons. Something fierce. I'm still reeling from that. It's a brilliant way of twisting and turning and adding a lot of pressure and giving a lot of bargains. It was brilliant to see what all 30-year moves looked like and what happened. And I'm really excited for next session when we see how all of the characters now interact with that having happened, because they're going to be different.
Well, and you all have an opportunity to be back together too, because you can all take the Pale Crossing to the Morning Tower. It's one of the rare opportunities to get you all in one place, right?
And then we could all Go. Oh, okay. Yes, this is a very good idea. I like this a lot. Okay, we have this. We have this as an option. I think that'll be really fun. Wren, Jesus Christ, mate. You can't pull that on us. You can't do that. That was absolutely phenomenal. I loved so much about Ash today. I loved the scene with Pluck at the beginning where you called them Asher, gave them the name Asher. It all felt very special. The descriptions even of Castle Braghan where you had the hand clawing through the arrow slit, that was just, it was very visceral. But yeah, that song just, and the description of your Nameless, I think, as well, during that 30-year period and what happened and the fact that they like charged through sorrow and pain across the land. Yeah, I'm very attached to these guys. Fenwyn, I really enjoyed our little scene at the beginning. I really enjoyed the threat of it, the silent threat of it. I realized how much trouble I was in. I think I realized how badly this could go. And it was simply you being there. That's how much presence you've given Fenwyn. And I love it. I love that he's a threat to that extent. Also, purely, it was the joke line. It was a joke line, but it was something I really needed at the point during that 30-year period where it was like, what happens to you and Rhea? Oh, we go and live in a house in the suburbs. I needed that. I just needed that to carry me through. But that whole scene with Rhea, the way you reacted with Rhea, and the learning that Rhea, or it was that realization that Rhea only communicates in sign language, and that snapping you out of it was such a good solve. This session was, I thought we peaked a couple sessions ago. I didn't think that we would top that. I can go fuck myself. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
I love this game. Matt, the choice to say that really Fenwyn always knew it wasn't real, but he's been through the ringer so very intensely that for 30 years he was willing to convince himself of that lie was beautifully heartbreaking in all the right ways. Just a gorgeous character decision that I absolutely loved. Jess, similarly, I think it was just like this moment you painted this image. I think you called Calyxe a vine in a dark room, and that, like, seeking the sunlight that isn't there, and that just really made me understand her in a way I hadn't before. It was just like such a beautiful encapsulation of the suffering behind everything she does, and the way she seeked, the idea that she was seeking Ash all that time and he was up in the lodge, added a kind of like almost humorous element to that, but it was just a really stunning moment, in a sea of stunning moments from you, of course. Wren, okay, in like the first session, I want to say, maybe the second one, you established that Ash can't sing, and I was livid because I was like, I want you to sing though, you have such a beautiful voice. Oh, we just needed a 30-year time skip for him to learn how to sing. What a gift Jason has given us. That was, you know it was beautiful. Fiona took a screen grab of our faces, so you know that you made me cry, you bastard. It was beautiful. I'm so happy that you performed that for us and wrote it for us. It was so wonderful. Jason, I said this to the others off camera. Matt texted me yesterday and was like, what do you think Theia and Fenwyn are going to do when they meet up again? And I was like, I have a few ideas, but really, who knows what Jason's going to throw at us. We should probably just see what happens. And yeah, right. that was a more prescient conversation than I expected. You always keep us guessing. Every time we think, oh, I get what this is now, we got a plan, we understand, you always have something fresh to throw at it to make it that little bit more exciting and enticing and epic. And it's just what a rare gift. It's wonderful.
Stars to all of us for making it through 30 years. Somehow we did it, gang. Fenwyn, just Fenwyn's through line of just the first deciding that he's going to be blind, like accepting that as some kind of penance, finding Rhea as maybe this kind of reward, recognizing it's somewhat of a lie, deciding to believe it anyway, and then realizing that this is actually not recompense for anything. Like this is not what it is. I love the decisions that you make, Matt, with Fenwyn and his journey, because had I a lock and key, I think it would be so different to the way that you're playing Fenwyn. And I love that kind of the thought and like the somewhat planning ahead of what this is going to do to affect his journey that you do with Fenwyn. Calyxe, Jess, the description of Calyxe in the forest for 30 years, waiting on Ash, the expectation and where they have placed that affection is so uneven. It's really uneven, and I feel like it's going to be calamitous when that comes to bear. And I'm excited and terrified for it because, as I have said, Calyxe is very scary to me, the player. Calyxe terrifies me. So I am so excited and scared for when that will occur. And I feel like it is both a gift and a trap, is what it is. Michelle, honestly, your decision to sing in almost every episode, I commend you, because I could barely get through the song. It's really terrifying to sing live. And just the story of you and Romulo coming back to life. And initially, when the 30th happened, I thought you went to the moon. I thought you were chilling with Romulo. Turns out you were in the sun, and that wasn't your fault. But I adore that it was sort of Romulo that told you to sing a song for two lovers in a way, and it didn't work out well at all. I'm very excited now that we're all back in one place to see how our relationships have changed for the better or worse. Probably worse, much worse, because of this. Jason, why? I thought one thing about this game, and I'm proven wrong every time. It's so rich, and we're building the story together, and that's great. And then sometimes you throw us a curveball none of us can expect, and it doesn't upset the story. It upsets us, but it doesn't upset the story. And I just think it's really remarkable to be able to have that in a game, to have a 30th time skip sprung on us and have it not like diminish the story that we're telling in any way. Great, wonderful, love this for us.
Stars, it was, what a session. It was so good. I echo everything everyone said. I really love kicking off with that, with the Romulo song. That was just so great, Michelle, and it really, again, set the tone for kind of what the whole session ended up being, which was really fantastic. And it moved me. It was great. Love that. Really love that like showdown scene between Calyxe and Fenwyn and with Sir Dennebury. That was so like intense, and like it almost felt like a, I don't know, it almost felt like a kind of like I don't know, it felt like some kind of like movie from the 70s or something. Like it felt just like had this like showdown quality, you know, in the streets or something. It was
I was going for a Kurosawa samurai face-off.
It was a little, it had a vibe, right? It was so great. It had like a vibe. I loved it.
I didn't do anything. I just sat on a rock somewhere. It was great.
And it was menacing.
Tough day at the office for me.
It was fantastic. Really love that. I thought everyone did a fantastic job handling the time skip. I had kind of had it in my back pocket. I was like, this is gonna happen. I knew I was gonna like. I knew about. I had Rhea in my back pocket. Like I was ready with all this stuff, and you all just handled this sort of like the narration of what happened in that 30 years and made it really great, and just synced up nicely with that fire to come that Ash marked with the nameless, and also the fire to come that Theia marked, which is why Theia ended up in the sun desert. That was all just so fantastic. I loved all of that. I thought you all did a great job with it. I thought the description of the end of Sir Denebray was really touching and really like tragic, because like he kind of like ended in a way that was so different from his character. You know, he was really, really brought low at the end, and I felt so bad for him. But it was such a great scene. Everyone did a fantastic job with the Lumen Prince fight. Like the scenes were terrific. All of it was so great. I could picture all of it. It was amazing. That whole fight was giving me my Dark Souls and Elden Ring life. Like it was so great, right? What a session. Gosh, it was so good. Everyone just really knocked it out of the park. I don't really have anything else to add except that I'm very excited to I do hope you all go on Pale Crossing. You don't have to, but I hope you do, because I would like to see everybody back together, and Pale Crossing and the Morning Tower is how you are allowed to be back together, right? And now whether you split up after Elegy or not, that's up to you, but there would at least be this time, you know. But I think that's all I got. So Matt, go ahead and do yours.
So picture, if you will, the five of us in an elevator, and we're just tootling up the floors, and we know at the top there is this emerald nightmare waiting for us, and we're like, oh, this is great. This is a nice, pleasant journey. There's that nice kind of bossa nova music playing as we go. And, you know, we're having a great time. We know that when we get to the top floor, it will be everything we ever wanted in a role-playing game. And then imagine, if you will, the cord gets cut and the elevator starts to plummet, and we find ourselves weightless, reaching our hands out, trying to catch onto anything to steady ourselves. And Jason just puts his hands out and just says, hang on, it's fine. Our stomachs are behind us as we are plummeting to earth. But in that weightless moment, this beauty lives, and it's incredible. And like the discord that we've got, like we were just like, what's happening, like what's going on? I don't understand any of this, but the trust that we have in each other to like kind of fashion something out of it that is so rich in character, drama, and detail, we're just so lucky to have that. And this kind of weightless plummet that we are now engaged in, I don't know if we're ever going to go back up, guys. Like this is where the magic happens, right? This is, I said before, like I love the stepping off the cliff and asking who's going to hold your hand and go with you. Like this is something different. Like it doesn't feel like someone has just pulled the rug from underneath us. It just feels like it just feels like this absolutely thrilling descent. And I've never had an experience like I've just had in this last 2.5 hours before. And then also to have it thrown in, there's like songs. I'm making like weird choices about choosing to live in like domestic hell. Like I'm having a threatening face off with a witch, and I'm not doing anything. And she just bit a guy's tongue off, and I feel bad for the most irritating person in this game. And like I can't really like put my finger on how this is all happening or why, but I'm into it, and I just feel so lucky to have you all there in the elevator with me as we plummet to our death. But like in terms of things that perhaps people haven't touched on, the Castle Reagan overall thing was really amazing, And like just that in and of itself is a really rich part of our story, even though none of us were there or witnessed it. It's this historical event that kind of spreads the lore like the mycelium network through the floor of this world that we're building. And like I was just absolutely startled by how everyone just brings it every session. It's a shame that we're not going to play again for so long, but I'm sure we'll all get over ourselves. But yeah, ultimately, amazing session. And yeah, I love a time skipping games when you know they're coming. But like to have one just put there and like, oh man, honestly, unreal. But yeah, great stuff, guys. Well done. I'm into it.